We are who we are becoming. We are all we have done. We are what we are dreaming. We've only just begun. This month is the 3rd anniversary of my 4-day-long interview with this congregation that ended with the board approving to hire me to be the consulting minister here at Kelowna Unitarian. 3 years ago, I had the opportunity to meet so many of you and to decide whether or not we would be able to work together, create a ministry together to serve Unitarians within Kelowna and to serve the people of Kelowna. We have becoming. This community has been doing a lot of work, attempting to figure out how to better communicate and resolve conflict, how to deepen our spirituality and engage in deeper personal growth. And we have dreamt of possibilities and wrestled with finances. And we have only just begun. Even though I have been here these last 3 years, does it not feel sometimes like we are standing at the precipice, arms locked together like tandem skydivers, working up the courage to jump? In the last 3 years, Kelowna Unitarians have welcomed 3 new staff members and have said goodbye to 2. We have had a complete turnover of the worship committee and an almost complete turnover of the board. Special shout out to Wayne Broughton for his incredible work over the last 4 years. We have witnessed the death of 6 dear members and innumerable friends. Holy are the places of memory. We have welcomed in 17 new members and offered well wishes to many who have had to leave the community. There was a wedding celebration and excitement for growing families. We have offered 4 new programs and started a new journey group. We've marched with members of the trans community and climate activists. We've partnered with societies and community members to struggle towards justice in our city on issues around homelessness and food security. We have developed plans on making our building accessible, applied for funding, and now looking towards funding the program or funding our accessibility ideas ourselves. And we have negotiated with the city about our property and approached developers to negotiate with them as well. Oh, and we have done many of these things during a year of global pandemic, which has caused a global shift in the way so many different industries, communities, and leaders are able to interact with the world. Holy are the places of pain and change. We are all we have done. Holy are the places we have dreamed, and we have continued to dream. 2 weeks ago, I preached about renewing our welcoming congregation program, and now there are people beginning to discuss this opportunity. We're going to have a discussion on beginning a social justice committee, and a plan to develop a new vision and mission will be discussed at the next leadership council. The adult programming committee is dreaming up programs and possibilities for new participants and ideas for when we can gather together safely again. Holy are the places of connection. And we are dreaming about how to keep service virtual, even when we are allowed to gather in the sanctuary again. And what other possibilities we can create to build greater inclusion in our communities. We are all that we have been dreaming, and we've only just begun. There is a preciousness and a holy, sacred existence about always being on the precipice of becoming. And I wonder if this is what it means to be real. In her book, Daring Greatly, Brene Brown states, to set down those lists of what we're supposed to do is to be brave. To love ourselves and support each other in the process of becoming real is perhaps the greatest single act of daring greatly. In our children's story today, we learned that for the rabbit, there were 2 layers of becoming real. First, he was real by the way that he was loved by his human. He was loved into becoming. He was loved so hard that his whiskers were coming off, and the pink lining of his ears turned gray, and his brown spots were fading. The second layer happened when the nursery magic fairy turned him real for everyone. And while this might be just a silly story about the magic of childhood, I do believe that there is a truth in that idea of becoming over and over again. Becoming real, becoming a community, becoming together over and over again. A few weeks ago, the board began discussing the process of visioning and creating a mission for the congregation. As my contract comes to an end and we continue to figure out how Kelowna Unitarians want to make change and serve the world, it became clear that we needed to have a clear understanding of what our vision and the mission of this congregation was going to be. A vision will help us define where we want our community to be in the future. 5 years, 10 years from now, who knows? But the vision is the dream that we make up. One minister defined the vision as a congregation's vow to the universe. To have time to contemplate what our vision is, allowing ourselves the chance to sit with the dreams that we have and what we believe could be possible, and what we want to vow to the universe would definitely begin us again on the process towards becoming together. Our mission explains who we are and why we exist. We currently have a mission. It was written several years ago, and I would be surprised if anyone here could recite it, because it seems to be a bit outdated, and it hasn't been part of the work and goals of this community for a while. I'm not suggesting that our mission statement isn't good or that it doesn't suit us, but I don't believe there is any ownership to it. And it has not helped the board make any significant decisions since I have been here. I think it is time for Kelowna Unitarians to take that deeper step towards becoming, allowing ourselves the time to discover what our vision is all together, and seeking to understand the possibility of human beings coming together, becoming real together, and perhaps changing the world together. I think one of the most important things that we need to remember as we begin this process is that a mission and a vision are things that we must return to, that we must revisit regularly. This allows us the possibility of becoming again and again, allowing ourselves the opportunity to achieve goals and to focus on new ones, or allowing us to realign ourselves. These documents need to be kept alive, to be used as a guidepost for the work we are doing together, whether that is to be our personal spiritual work that we engage with with other members of Colonial Unitarians, or the faithful work of creating a world where every interaction is rooted in love, dignity, and worth for one another. Living into these documents, allowing them to help guide us and to shift them when we need to, will allow us to be on that never-ending precipice of becoming ourselves together over and over again. To become is a lifelong process. Nothing is constant, not even the self. And this lifelong labor cannot be carried out alone. It requires help from friends and lovers, family, and maybe even creatures, loving and being loved. This is why we gather together, to bear witness for each other. Humans have always gathered together because becoming is a lifelong process, and we cannot bear to do it by ourselves. In the Litany for Becoming, written by Reverend M. Barclay, the last stanza says, "There is no me without you. We shape one another. The sacred that birthed us weaves our lives together so that we can only find ourselves through shared becoming. For my journey and all its winding ways, for yours, for all the saints who labored for what is, all the kin whose lives made ours possible, for all those yet to come, from whom living our truths today will mean breaking possibilities open for them tomorrow. We pause, we give thanks, we acknowledge. This is loving and being loved." The act of becoming takes consideration. All of those with whom we have affected or been affected by. As we become together as a congregation, a faith community seeking to form and be formed by the world, we must take in account all those who came before us and those who will come after us. Speaking to colleagues and asking for guiding questions that could allow a community to wrestle with the idea of vision, I have received very many wondering questions that I wish to share with you here. What does it mean to live a life of what does it mean to live a Unitarian Universalist life with integrity? What do you need from this community in order to live that life? What do we want the congregation to look like in 5 or 10 years as a result of the efforts in ministry, programming, and outreach in service of our highest aspirational value? Who are we at our best when the congregation is most alive, engaged, and committed? What are our most courageous dreams for the future of this faith community? And finally, a dear mentor of mine gave voice to this question, hoping, and I will finish with this one, hoping that it will sit in the corner of your consciousness until we gather again and start dreaming aloud together. She asked, what would it look like to be a Unitarian Universalist community that honors our ancestors, equips those here for the now, and faithfully makes way for those yet to come? May we spend time figuring this out. I look forward to discussing it with you.